We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
The grill is shot. The chairs are held together by optimism. And what happened to the rug? Sounds like your outdoor setup is not ready for patio season. Fix it all with Wayfair. Shop Wayfair for grills, rugs, furniture, and more. With 20 million 5-star reviews, room of choice delivery, and expert setup on qualifying orders, it's never been easier to do more for less. Get 10% off your first eligible purchase. Hurry to wayfair.com or download the app now.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
I think LeBron's intention is to play, and I think the focus right now is making a deal with the Lakers. And right now he's allowed to negotiate with the Lakers, and I believe they are negotiating. I believe they're going back and forth. Free agency begins in 14 days, and in the next 14 days, I think he's going to try to make a deal with the Lakers.
That's ESPN's Brian Windhorst saying LeBron is focused on a new deal, stay in LA, stay with the Lakers. Everything about going to the Knicks and helping them break that championship drought. Well, that doesn't matter now. The Knicks did it. Going back to Cleveland or going to the Warriors. Nope. Stay with the Lakers. What will the price tag be?
I always thought he was going to. I mean, who else would want him? Not that he's a bad player or a cancer or distraction. I'm just talking about.
I thought that was the list.
Those situation right now.
Those were the three teams, and once the Knicks won the title, now there's two teams.
And why move?
Yes, I thought that was a big factor.
You're settled. You've been there now for a number of years. Yep. You like it. You're in the entertainment thing. It seemed like a no-brainer.
So to go somewhere else for a year or two, yeah.
Yeah, why?
So it looks like they're cutting a deal.
And you're not most likely going to win the title next year anyway.
Right. It would have been entertaining to see him with the Warriors, but that wouldn't move them to a championship tier. Maybe Cleveland.
It'd be the oldest team in history.
Yeah. Longtime Los Angeles Lakers PA announcer Lawrence Tanner, 76 years old, retiring after more than 40 years behind the mic during Laker home games. Karl Malone.
He was there when I was there.
Karl Malone.
I wonder what level of success he'll want his successor to have.
Ha! According to ESPN's Tim McMahon, and confirmed by Ben Anderson, Utah Jazz center Walker Kessler declined a 5-year, $140 million offer from the Jazz. He reportedly wants more than $28 million per year.
And I thought that was understood, that minimum 30 to 35.
Was what he wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you want 30, you really walk away from 28?
Well, you're not walking away from anything right now.
You're not.
And the market, being a restricted free agent, the market sets itself.
It does.
So you don't really have to worry about it. And that's the thing that, who was it? We were talking about Amick yesterday. The market will determine what he gets, not the Jazz. They determine whether they want to match it or not. So I don't understand I guess I do to an extent, but the hurt feeling type of situation.
That's the question, right?
Because the market is set by everybody in the league.
But there is that, you see me work every day, you should appreciate me, I'm worth this, you should know that. And
but it's a business.
I get it.
I told you.
But nonetheless,
you're trying to get as much from me, and I'm trying to get as little from you. Or give you as little.
But you've been in the workforce for decades now, and you've heard plenty of these stories, and you know that's how people are wired. I mean, you're being very logical right now, which is usually my role, but you're doing it very well, but you know there's emotion in this, and people think they're worth more. Even though everything you say is true.
I think I'm worth more here, but the market is what it is. I mean, am I going to hold it against them?
We've seen it. Well, we don't, but we know other people do. And we have ridden a roller coaster, if people only knew. And we've seen people around us ride the roller coaster, if people only knew.
Yeah.
And some people have handled it pretty well. It's kind of like, well, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, I don't ride the roller coaster so much with Bonneville. But
no, I'm talking about over the course of 25 years.
I know. I got you. I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
And in the process, I'm sucking up.
I can see that also. That's also true.
Full disclosure.
But that's also part of the deal. And you know it. And I'm curious to what degree. How much of this is posturing and how much of this is real?
Well, right now, I want more.
Right. And
Sure.
maybe because it's like, I want more, I want to go to market, and maybe he is being very pragmatic about this, and maybe he'll be like,
this little piggy can go to the market and see what he gets. He's a big piggy.
Exactly. He's 7 foot tall and he's athletic.
He really doesn't have to worry about it. The market will set it itself.
Yep.
And then
so
away
if
you
the
go.
Charlotte Hornets offer him big money like they offered Hayward back in the day, then the Jazz can either match it or not. But they don't want to bid against themselves. And $20 million, that's a pretty healthy number.
Is it all obviously, they're all going to be held.
But didn't you think they'd at least come in at 25?
Yes.
But I did wonder when this is going on. I hadn't, before I'd heard the number, I wondered if they really lowballed them and went 21 or something.
No,
which is still a big pile of money. I get that.
That's like a $200,000 house and making the offer for $120.
Yeah.
You're wasting your time.
Right. Yeah.
I think that when it comes down to it, and if he goes someplace else, Austin just tells Walker's management team, tell Walker it's business. I always liked him.
Nice. There's always a Godfather line handy.
And then
there
be
it
careful
is.
to get in the car.
Toughest thing about The Godfather is that I watched Barney Miller, so Abe Vigoda was fish.
Well, he slept with them.
He did, in the end. NBA Finals, most watched since 1998. Average viewership, 20 million people across 5 games. Peaked with 33 million as they clinched it in Game 5.
Because it's the Knicks.
Knicks, I know. Tell me how many people are in the tri-state area, PK.
I see 15, 20.
Not to mention all the New Yorkers that, due to work
Florida.
or whatever, have spread around the country. Yeah, Florida for sure, right? Yeah, I would think if you saw market-by-market numbers, I wouldn't be surprised if there were big numbers.
Well, yeah,
in Florida.
I mean, having lived back there and still have a stake in it, Florida's like heaven. Everybody going to Florida? That's assumed. Like here, St. George, you going to St. George?
Right.
Well, there it's millions upon millions. You going to Florida? So, yes, up and down that entire eastern
But there's
seaboard.
there's a ton of New Yorkers in D.C., and they're everywhere.
Yeah, I've
a ton of New Yorkers in L.A.
I've got probably 20 to 25 relatives who've been relocated for unmentioned reasons in New Mexico.
The shot of them walk out in the slippers, pick up the newspaper at the end of the driveway.
Oh, God, Goodfellas.
Yeah. Didn't have a Godfather for you. But had
Second
Goodfellas.
best, third best movie, mob movie.
Second best is the Godfather 1 and Godfather 2.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. And then Goodfellas.
I kind of count them as one.
Sure, I see. Yeah, I get it.
But technically they're not.
So
yeah.
Casino is fourth?
I don't even know if there is a fourth. You can. I haven't. Those are others receiving votes.
Nice. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
He'll clearly be ready in time for training camp. I think he's going to be full by the end of this month, and yet it's good to have him out here in uniform.
That's Sean Payton, Denver Broncos coach, saying quarterback Bo Nix ready to go. He had surgery in April to remove bone spurs from the right ankle that he fractured in the AFC divisional round last season. But Bo Nix expects to be a full go next month.
Good.
Put the Broncos right at the top AFC contenders, maybe alongside the Bills.
Well, alongside.
Yeah, alongside the Bills, on the top tier.
I'm not ready to rule out the Chiefs in the division, and the Chargers are still on the come. So it's not like they're the overwhelming favorite, as maybe the Chiefs were a few years ago.
I'd agree with that. And also, it is hard to be the overwhelming favorite in the NFL because people get hurt all the time. And obviously, the Broncos' championship odds changed dramatically when Bo Nix got hurt in the divisional round. So, But the arrow's been up for those guys here. It's trending well, and I would expect it to trend well for them this year.
Well, Sean Payton, he's an excellent coach.
Right.
Because he's been trained by Bill Parcells.
See? Don't you think that
the greatest coach of all time, Bill Parcells,
moving from the Knicks over to the New York Football Giants,
don't argue with me,
with Harbaugh coming in, what Peyton did with the Broncos and what John's brother Jim did with the Chargers, isn't the arrow up for the Giants here over the next couple of years?
I think it would be up no matter who is the coach.
Because they got the QB, they got the running back. But I think the fact that it's a veteran coach who always had Baltimore in the mix.
No question. I suppose I can't say that completely because they could have got some ding-dong, but they didn't, obviously. Right. So, sure, yeah. And Dart has to stay healthy.
He does.
And then he's got to be smart. You can be tough, but you got to be smart. And he's tough.
Former Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby expected to formally apply for the NFL supplemental draft as soon as today. Current projections have him as a day 3 pick, so that would mean the grade right now says he gets selected somewhere between the 4th and 7th round of the supplemental draft.
Got there on ESPN, they're going to have Pro Day July 10th. But I was listening this morning and listening yesterday. I was listening to Neuheisel yesterday, and he's a quarterback guy. Coach quarterbacks in the NFL, I believe, for Baltimore. He's saying he's a first-round talent. And then the College Sports Network, where I've heard Trammell on driving in, he was, I forget the guy. I think his last name was Miller. He was saying that if Sorsby came out this year, at the
draft that just happened a couple months ago,
that he would have gone 2. Second.
Yes, I've heard that multiple times. Yes.
So, but the thing about it is, the way this works, whatever round you take them in, that's the pick you lose. So would teams that they were talking about, the Cardinals, Brissett is holding out, and they got Carson Beck, the kid from Georgia / Miami, is I think the 3rd round, if I remember. I'd have to double check that. Is he really their guy that they think? So do they take a fly because they can get Sorsby now and get him? He's not going to play this next season anyways, but get him into the facility and get him trained and all that stuff. But do they gamble and think, oh, somebody won't take him, so we'll wait? I mean, I can't imagine if he's available on what we would call the 3rd day. I think somebody takes him early at that point.
I thought 4th round was as low as he would go. The thing is, now that it's gone this far and you're assembling your team, you're trying to analyze next year's draft, and there's supposed to be a bunch of quarterbacks that are coming out, and a bunch of them are good. Do you want to use a first-round pick on him now? If you could say, if you really believe that rounds 4 to 7, and I can't believe it's after round 4. If that's true, they got to be talking about the 4th round. Would you use a 2nd or 3rd rounder to get a quarterback, knowing most teams are going to use first? And if there's a run on quarterbacks early, now you can go out and
always
get something. I know,
early.
right?
But see, and you get a team like Pittsburgh, who's either going to get into the playoffs or come close to getting into the playoffs. They're not going to be drafting high. When's the last time Pittsburgh's ever drafted high? Yeah, you probably go back 40 years. So they can take a kid like Sorsby, and Rodgers can do his thing this year, and then in 27, after he's been with the team for a year, then away we go. So they may feel like we can get a player that normally would go higher, and we don't have that opportunity to get him. So, and they obviously need one. The Pittsburgh is a classic example. We all know the teams that don't need quarterbacks. You can just look at the standings and figure it out yourself.
Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice released from jail after serving his 30-day sentence. He avoided reporters at the jail, whisked away in a waiting SUV. He missed all of the Chiefs' voluntary offseason workouts, their mandatory minicamp. He is expected to be at training camp next week. DJ and PK.
# college football.
The NFL Players Association, the NBA Players Association sent statements to Congress yesterday supporting the Protect College Sports Act, the bipartisan proposed legislation in the U.S. Senate. The statements allotted specific provisions. It includes, while also encouraging further negotiations during the legislative process. The NFL voiced its support for the voluntary pooling of media rights under the Sports Broadcasting Act, which is something the SEC and the Big Ten have opposed. And we had Mark Harlan on the air yesterday, and he did mention keeping an eye on this. It is a big deal to him, and maybe not now or never, but if not now, then not in the immediate future. It'll be a while, according to Mark. This is their best, most serious opportunity here.
Yeah, I have, for the good of the game, I can understand the pooling, but as we saw back in the Mountain West days, why should BYU get the same media rights as Wyoming? The fees, not media rights, but the actual money. It doesn't really make sense to me. So why should somebody subsidize? I mean, that's like saying all concerts from now on will be $100 tickets.
Well, see, that depends. Some group just starting out, maybe should be $20, right?
Right, but so they're.
Meanwhile, the Eagles.
But it's a little Robin Hood thing.
I get it. It is. I do.
But is that really the way we want the free market to work? If somebody can command, Morgan Wallen, I bought a $50 ticket at the complex, and then COVID spiel got in the way. Well, $50, then he ain't gonna get you parking now to his shows. You know what I mean?
I do, and it's always crazy. How do we want the free market to work? And these billionaires, who the free market has worked quite well for, or they wouldn't be billionaires, are now totally into socialism. Guarantees them money, and there's really no way for them to lose money once they're in the club.
So I'm torn. I like the 5 years. I like the one-time transfer.
And you get exactly why the SEC and the Big Ten don't want to do this. They're going to give more money to the Big 12 and the Pac-12 and the ACC. And they're like, but we're the ones driving the bus, creating most of the value.
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Right.
And that's why we're stuck here.
But I understand it could be good for the game.
Yeah.
I just don't know that I like it on principle.
Well, and they talk about it's bipartisan, which is something we rarely hear now. But don't you think it breaks down to, okay, let's use Wyoming as an example. The two senators for Wyoming are like, yeah, this will be good for the Wyoming Cowboys. Absolutely, and I can get out there and campaign on this. Meanwhile, the two senators for Indiana are looking at Purdue and Indiana and Notre Dame and going, what in the world would I – I'm opposed to this. Now, I don't know, but I assume the senators in those two states are all Republicans. Yeah, of course this isn't splitting across party lines. Follow the money, as Patrick Kinahan would say.
Why would you assume that?
What?
Those states, whatever states you
They're
just
red
mentioned.
states, Wyoming and Indiana. They tend to vote Republican. So I assume they have 4 Republican senators.
I would have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know what I would say? What Sariana's saying on those first 2 words.
Bleep that! You got to be you! Especially in leadership roles. The whole thing fits. Because otherwise, people are going to see through it. I think we see through politicians sometimes. All right, DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Here's a pitch swung on deep drive left field. Way down the line and way gone. 15 rows back lower deck. 2-run homer for Paul Goldschmidt. It's now a 9-1 New York Yankee lead.
Ohtani leads off and cracks a highliner. Deep center field. It is gone. It just takes Ohtani to snap this pitcher's duel.
The Stars do their thing. How about Shohei Ohtani? Solo homer in the 6th inning. It's the only run of the game. The Dodgers squeaked past the Rays 1-0. Hey, and none of this wind-blown foul ball down the line. How about 427 feet to center field?
Yeah, I'm thinking I might want to consider retiring in Indiana now.
You won't be able to see Shohei there. Oh, that's not the point. Stuck on a previous headline.
Yeah, 1-0. You don't get those very often.
He's homered in 4 of his last 6 games, and he won't homer tonight because he's pitching, and they're not going to have him hit tonight. So that's home run number 15, which goes back to your point. He was just in the 50-50 club when he wasn't pitching, 50 homers, 50 stolen bases. Now that he is pitching, he's got 15. So on a pace that probably put him in the mid-30s somewhere.
Well, you're having a trade-off.
Yep.
And they know about that. So you're coming. They feel like you're coming out ahead.
He can't win the Cy Young. Wally hits 50 homers. Wally steals 50 bases. He's not the Bionic Man. It's finally a bridge too far. Something Shohei can't
I
do.
just think mentally it's too taxing to be able to do that. And with Glasgow and Shell, these guys have been hurt the whole time they've been there. They need him. Or Snell, not Shell.
Shohei's on the mound today as the Dodgers and Rays play one more time. The Rays with the second best record in the American League, so this is a big-time matchup right here. And Shohei will be on the hill. Also in there, you heard the Yankees win again. There's the only team with a better record than the Rays right now. They are flying high. You impressed with what they're doing, even without the big guy?
Yeah, I watched some of that game last night. White Sox are, a great story this year, but they
That's
had
a battle
going on.
Yeah, battle of division leaders. The White Sox in first place down the Central, rolling. But for the for the Yankees, that's 7 out of 8.
Goldschmidt's had a renaissance here at 38 years of age. Good for him. He's a good dude.
The Arizona Diamondbacks signed South Korean two-way prospect Young Sang-yom. Did I even get close, Yak? Okay.
No one will know.
On a minor league deal, the 18-year-old high schooler plays shortstop. He's also a right-handed pitcher. He's considered one of the top amateur prospects out of Asia and said he's going to focus on shortstop initially, but he's open to pitching for Arizona.
Well, the Diamondbacks told him you're going to focus on shortstop. So we'll see. I mean, it's no surprise anymore when
players come from South Korea or Japan, right?
Well, those are the two Asian communities that
are cranking out baseball prospects left and right. Yeah.
We've long since gotten over the Latin American being a surprise. That's not even close to a big deal anymore. And I think it took a bit for the Asian player, but I think we're there. If they're good, they're good. Doesn't matter where you're from.
Mm-hmm. Bees beat Tacoma Rainiers 10-6 tonight, or last night. They'll play again tonight at the ballpark at America First Square. And West Virginia, the last Big 12 team left, knocked out Troy. They're in the last 4 teams. Now they got to win twice now to make it to the championship series. But West Virginia, not exactly glorious weather. The West Virginias and Oregon States of the world, there's still a place for them in college baseball. You don't have to be in the Sunshine Belt. All right, DJ and PK.
They've been caught out there. A horrible error in the back. And guess who was around to pounce? Iraq plotted their own downfall because you don't want to do anything like that when this man is around. This man is Erling Haaland.
Nico Gonzalez, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi! First career World Cup hat trick. Ties the all-time goal-scoring record.
Messi, just when you think he's done everything, he does one more thing. He gets a hat trick in the World Cup for the first time in his career. He scores all 3 goals for Argentina. They shut out Algeria. And Messi has one, just adds to the legend. One more accomplishment.
They shut out Tyler Algeria?
Tyler Algeria. And Norway cruises. Holland scores twice, and Norway rolls 4-1. So.
Oh, wait, Holland scores twice? So the country's playing for Norway?
No.
Brad Holland?
Spelled differently. Haaland.
Oh. And the U.S. plays Friday?
1 o'clock Mountain Time.
The thing that I don't understand is how does Russell Crowe have time to make movies and coach the U.S. team?
That is amazing, really, that he would be that good at 2 different things.
Don't those guys look alike?
A little
Mauricio
bit.
Pochettino does look like Russell Crowe.
He's got a little Russell Crowe.
Mauricio Fettuccini or whatever his name is?
Pochettino.
Fettuccini. England and Croatia, the big game today. DJ and PK.
#NHL.
Well, the news broke today. The Vegas Golden Knights announced that John Tortorella will not return as head coach. News broke during our show yesterday, late in our show yesterday. Surprising since he came in with 8 games left in the regular season, took him to the Stanley Cup final. He wants to coach next year, but apparently they have been lining up their they got a guy in the minors who they've been lining up as the future. So Tortorella will go look for another job. Kind of odd, but there it is.
Well, Torts. Yeah, that's an interesting and unusual story. To come in, get him to the final, and then you're out.
No, it's a little Utah football-ish, right? I mean, he's not there like Kyle forever, but nonetheless, he was there and he was having success. But they got a young guy they want to give it to, their version of Morgan Scalley. So they're going to continue on with that plan, and Torts will go find something
but he
else.
was only there for a cup of coffee at the end of the regular season.
That part was different. But the players all had great things to say about him. It was all a list of just fantastic quotes. They love playing for him.
Because they won.
Yep. It's generally why people keep their jobs, but Torts will be looking for something else now. Edmonton's still open. Give that a shot. NHL said the Stanley Cup playoffs this spring were most watched on record in the U.S., averaged 1.8 million viewers, surpassed the record set in 96, up 68% over last year.
Cool.
What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Bob Casper's here for our draft at 8 o'clock, the U.S. Open Championship. We'll talk Shinnecock with Bob Casper. And then Ben Anderson at 9 o'clock, Utah Jazz insider for KSL Sports and co-host of Jake and Ben. And we will talk NBA draft with him. Plus, we got more U.S. Open giveaway qualifiers. We'll be doing that in a few minutes. Stick around. Stay with us. The question of the day is next.
Turn it up. Let's go. It's a new era for sports radio in Utah. This is the all-new KSL Sports Zone. As always, DJ and PK kick off your mornings from 6 to 10. Then introducing the newest addition to the KSL Sports Zone. The coach, Tim Lacombe, joins Scotty G every day from 10 to 2. And as you wrap up your day, Jake Scott and Ben Anderson are there with the best sports talk in Utah from 2 to 6. Live and local, all day, every day. Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is live, on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. KSLSports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Question of the morning. Tony Jones, former writer for the Salt Lake Tribune, covered the Jazz for The Athletic. Now he's back in Philadelphia, but he still follows the Jazz and posts about him once in a while. And he posted the Jazz are torn between A.J. DeBonsa, Cam Boozer, and Darren Peterson. What should the Utah Jazz do?
Torn between 2 players. In this case, maybe 3. No, you can only be torn between 2, though.
I never liked that song.
Oh, no kidding.
Too whiny.
No kidding.
So whiny.
But I think I'm best when I sing when I am whiny, because that is the most over the top.
I don't know that I've ever seen a manager more shocked than the morning you screamed out, "I kissed a girl and I liked it." I saw a manager in the hallways and they, "What was that?" I was like, "They call it a show." and he paused, he froze, and then he kind of went, tipped his head sideways, kind of nodded like, "Yeah." Okay, and then he kept walking.
Where were we?
We were at Simmons.
Okay. Because ultimately...
Now you know of the 3 managers which one it was? Yeah. He was shorter, and he worked upstairs in the corner.
The big guy.
It caught him off guard. But once I said, it's a show. I don't know. It's not scripted.
Ultimately, obviously, they will only choose between 2 unless they trade up.
Yes, because one will be off the board.
But I don't really see any point in trading up at this point.
No.
Because you have to give up stuff you don't need to give up. So somebody else will make a decision for them, and then they have to decide between 2.
I believe that to be true.
I kissed a girl and I liked it.
That's it. That's it.
So then that's A, it's a great problem to have, and B, it's sort of a duh.
It is a great problem to have. You're going to end up with a good player. Usually the fear is you're going to end up with did we get a good player? Do we make a mistake?
There have been times you decide between going back Greg Oden or Kevin Durant.
And nobody knew at the time. Yep, it's true. NFL teams have done it with quarterbacks. I mean, the whole Portland took Sam Bowie. Well, nobody was saying it that day.
I don't remember what they were saying that day.
And we're saying that. Later on, it became clear.
Crystal. And so the point is maybe it'll be like that. Hopefully not for the Jazz sake. But that's right now it appears that it's good. And so you have to wait and see what Washington is going to do. And then I think for the Jazz sake, the Jazz have to go into this with probably 5 scenarios. For sake of argument, which is not a stretch, Washington can take any of the 3.
Right.
So you have to have 3 different scenarios there, right? And
if Washington takes AJ, you have to know if you want Darren or Cam.
That leads you to my other 2. So Washington, go on the assumption they could take, if they take AJ, then we do this or this. If they take
Peterson
Boozer or Peterson, so that's 3 scenarios. Yes. Once they get done with theirs, then you have 2. Do we take player A or do we take player B? So there's 5 legitimate scenarios that they have to research inside out, upside down.
All of which you can figure out just by listing players 1, 2, 3, 4, which we know they do because we've seen handwritten lists before of how they list them out through 10.
Right. So they'll have 3 different scenarios for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll be ready to go, but it'll still be a crucial decision, no question, and it'll still be a little
isn't there
nerve-wracking.
Another scenario where they get a call from Team X offering
Yeah, but you can't plan for that.
Why not?
As much because you don't know, because you don't control that.
Well, you don't control it, but you don't control this other thing
Which is
either.
why you have these specific scenarios. I think you do control the 5 scenarios, though. You're prepared for all 5.
You're prepared to react. But you've had conversations, and the way the NBA works, whatever trade, isn't there a 99% chance that whatever trade, if someone calls and proposes something, right as everything's breaking, you've already talked about it. The odds of throwing
it's not going to be brand new.
It's not
going to. The conversation is not going to originate at 6:10.
By the way, what would you think?
In 6 days, 6:10 p.m. I understand that. But I think that's highly unlikely because those teams around you aren't very good. And what do they have? And don't risk it. At that point, when DA did what he did, he was going like from 1 to 3. I don't know, do you want to go to 2 to 4, 2 to 5, 2 to 6?
Mm-hmm.
It gets a little dicey there.
I agree.
So you have to be aware of that. But I would spend most of my time preparing each of those 5 different scenarios.
The opportunity to get a really good player who has really good size, you got to stay in the top 4. After that, you're drafting a much smaller guard. And they're clearly trying to assemble a big team, have a size advantage, and you're not going to get a size advantage if you're outside the top 4. You might get a really good player. You might get the next Jalen Brunson.
Well, I think they'll have a tall team irregardless. I wouldn't draft somebody just to get taller.
No,
I'd draft somebody to get better.
Right. But these 4 guys at the top can do both things. Theoretically. Like you said, there's still a chance.
Right. Yeah. But I like the fact right now, with 6 days to go, that they are torn. Because that means it's like going to a great restaurant. It's like a chef. And they're making 3 outstanding meals, and it's not good for your health to eat more than 1. But you got to pick the one. Of course, you can come back tomorrow. So it was like me when I was deciding who to marry. You know what I mean?
No.
I had like 6 outstanding candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked the best golfer. I once had a gal, true story, she asked me for marriage advice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, okay, here's the deal. And she kind of knew me, knew my face.
She kind of knew you, but she's asking for advice on this very important topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did.
Strikes me as unusual, but go ahead.
Right. And so I said, here's the deal. You got to have that physical attraction. Mm-hmm. And she's younger. Mm-hmm. And that's very important. Mm-hmm. Very important. No doubt about it. But eventually,
looks fade.
That's going to wane to a degree.
Yeah.
And you're going to be stuck with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So that person you're stuck with, you better make sure if there's one person on the planet that you want to spend time with, it's got to be that person. If it's that person and you're physically attracted to him, the answer is yes. If the answer is no, then you got your answer. I said, in my case, the answer is overwhelmingly yes. I would, if I had to choose one person 100 times over, I'm choosing the one I got. If I can only spend time with one person, go on vacation, live day-to-day, live the boring day-to-day life. A lot of day-to-day life is humdrum, right?
Gotcha.
So you better really, really, really like that. But that person, the cliche is best friend, but it's true. And so I told her that, and I am not good on it. I never offer advice on my own. I suck at it. Not very good. But she asked, and I felt strong about it. And she just looked at me. She's just, you could tell. She goes, thank you. And it was a real heartfelt thank you.
So did she marry the guy?
Oh,
no, come on, dude.
I don't remember.
You tell that long story, you walk us up. I don't know.
I assume yes, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I wasn't that close to her.
Was it in Utah? Could you track her down, or was it in California, Arizona?
It was here.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
It was
here. Your life.
Yeah.
All right, well, now you have something to do this weekend. We can go to track her down, find out.
It was probably at least 15 years ago.
Okay. Track her down.
That's my one advice. And so I think that's what the Jazz have to do. Who can you live with? Because it's literally
AJ,
live with.
AJ, they've already spent 2 years with him. There was a connection in high school, and there's absolutely a connection in college.
But you got to be physically attracted to him in my metaphor.
Yes. You watched him play basketball. You know the college game doesn't have the spacing. And his three-point shot, it's true, it isn't where you want it to be. And nonetheless, even though everybody knew he wants to get into the paint, and in a sport where it's easier to keep people out of the paint, everything's more condensed, he still got to the rim repeatedly, over and over. And we all knew what was coming. Well, he didn't really want to take a three.
Okay.
And I think he's willing to defend. Can he get better? Yes. But I think he's willing to defend. He's willing to compete. I think he cares about the team winning and losing. I don't think he's look at the stat sheet guy. Well, I got 20, whatever. I don't think he's that guy.
Yeah, I think that you're not going to stay on the floor just because you were drafted number 2. You're going to stay on the floor because you're helping your team win.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to stay on the floor.
You know what was great was we came in here one morning and they'd lost. I can't even remember to who.
Cougars?
And we were like, yeah, BYU lost. Mm-hmm. And we were like, what went wrong? He's like, hey, DeBunce is the guy and he scores. But you're 6'9", dude. You got to rebound. Now, unbeknownst to us, I don't know that we could suspect, but we didn't know, that very conversation was happening. And in the next game, he heard that and he thought about it. He's like, yeah. And he went out and he got 8 or 9 rebounds or something. And we came in after that game like, wow. That's
KY told him. His guys told him.
There's a problem. This is what needs to happen if we're going to win. And he looked at it and he went out and did it the very next game.
Yeah, he was told you can't leak out.
That's a box, right. That's a box you want to see checked, and we literally saw it checked 1 week. 2 games, 1 week. There's the problem. This is the answer. Can you do it? Yes, he went and did it in the next game.
Yeah, my feeling and my personal feeling, I haven't been around him and talked to people who've been around him way more than I have, is that he's coachable, he's agreeable, all that stuff. You know, there is some other stuff that they're worried about a little bit, and I get it. You know, family being involved and all that stuff. But I don't have a lot of experience dealing with that at the pro level. I have a lot of
That's the
experience
kind of
dealing
thing-
with at the college level.
That's the kind of thing that needs to change over time. Kids grow up and they need to do their own thing. That is not the first time that we've heard this with a high-profile player. We heard it with Gordon Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, the young person, like everybody else, except they're doing it because it's basketball or it's sports and we're watching, but it's no different than,
Yeah, I know.
Your kids or
So
your
I don't
niece and
think it's a
nephew or
big- I
your
don't think it's
neighbor
a
or
big
whatever.
deal.
Yeah. Over time, the adults have to let go, and
I
the
don't
young
see
person has
Pops
to take
marching
over.
into Will Hardy's office very
Right.
often. So I don't.
No.
I'm not concerned. I know that that's been discussed.
Metaphorically, they
but
just
I'm
need to
not-
move from the 4th row to the 14th row.
I don't have any big concern on that. This is the pro level. That stuff.
Brad says, as far as Tony's post, that the Jazz are torn between DeBonsa, Boozer, and Peterson. What should they do? He says, it's 7 days out. Publicly, it's all smoke and mirrors. I think they have a pretty good handle on all four. Much better than any of us. The right decision will be the player Washington doesn't take that works best. It is publicly
Okay,
smoke and
sure,
mirrors.
but how do you know that, though? You don't know that. Even they don't know it.
They don't. They can suspect it and they can think it, but they don't know it. And that's why we redraft 5 years later, and somebody who's 14th, we would move up to 3rd.
They got
Nobody
a great
knows.
handle. Every team has a great handle, and every GM and every team has blown a pick.
And the frightening part is that there isn't a draft you could go back. This we'll use top 4 because this year there's the top 4, where you would say, I would draft 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Every draft you go back, there's at least one where I'd change that. So you just have to make sure you're not that one, that you've gotten it right.
Yeah, and so far, with George, that's the home run.
Oh, with Keontae as the pick, yeah. And
That's
you redraft.
16?
You would go back and redraft that. Yeah, he'd be much higher.
Yeah. We'll have to see about Williams. Well, Hendricks is gone now anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you use that piece to help you get
Jackson.
Jackson, which is good.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, did BYU's, did their prospects change? Should the expectations change? Are they now the pick in the Big 12? We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
He is the president of basketball operations for the Utah Jazz. Austin Ainge, kind enough to join us. Can you go anywhere without anybody trying to say, hey, Austin, just between you and me, just, come on.
Oh, everywhere I walk, people ask, but we don't tell anybody. I don't tell my wife. I don't tell I don't tell some of the people on my staff that I work with every day where I'm leaning. Like, on top of the competitive advantages and the trades that could kill and some of the other things that would harm, there's huge betting markets now. And
that's true.
Some guy I play golf with makes $500,000 on who the draft is, and then the FBI's knocking on my door. We can't be having that.
No. We don't want any of that.
No. And that may be in the news right now, so you want to avoid that for sure.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big 12 Media Day is coming up, PK. Is BYU going to be treated as the favorite when you get to the Star in Dallas? Texas Tech has lost their quarterback. He was supposed to be the guy, and we saw him at Cincinnati last year. He's pretty good. Now, there's an NFL people anywhere from the 1st to the 4th round, depending on who you're talking to. Apparently, his NFL grade is 3rd day, which is surprising, but there are specific people you referenced earlier, Rick Neuheisel, who played quarterback in college and coached up some good ones as a head coach, and he thinks he's a first-round pick, and there's people in between.
Plus, he went to McClintock High.
Somewhere in Phoenix?
Tempe,
okay.
His dad was a professor at ASU, I think. In fact, his dad and his mother, childhood books, Dick and Jane, it's exactly Neuheisel's parents' names.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jane Neuheisel. Mom.
Dick and Jane.
Dick and Jane. Yeah. So is BYU the favorite now? Aaron, now they always were. Laughing, winking emoji.
I would disagree with that.
Jimmy, yes, but somehow Utah will be projected to win. You would disagree with that. That's why I pointed at you. It's not the same answer.
Well, Utah's in the mix.
They're in the mix, but they're not going to be projected to win. They're going to be picked at best 3rd, and there are people who are going to pick them 5th, 6th, 7th, or whatever.
which I think is way, way, way too low. But I get it. There's unknown.
But I also think when you get down there's going to be ties, and so you know 4, 5, 6 can all be a tie.
7th is a long way to go. But I think if Kyle was there, then
they'd be third
at worst, maybe even higher.
Maybe. Yes, on some ballots.
And it's not a slight on the coaching staff now. It's just the unknown on the coaching staff
it's also some high-end talent, the real difference makers. And I just think the difference between 3rd to 6th could be just the difference between 7-2 and 6-3. It could just be that. And when you lose a guy who provided a third of your sacks, when you lose the entire offensive line, you can still have a good O-line, and it isn't as good as last year's O-line. So there are question marks out there on the line of scrimmage on both sides.
Well, and everybody has them. There's no
and that's why
complete unquestioned
and
team.
That's why none of this is going to be unanimous. Kevin says Tech is still the champ till someone knocks him off. BYU plays better as the underdog anyway.
Well, they were the underdog against Tech both times, and they didn't play well.
Dylan says Tech still has Hammond. He played better than Morton at times.
He did, but limited, and then he got hurt.
Yep. And it's not clear when he'll be back. I mean, they could lose that. He doesn't play against Houston. They lose the game to a team that's viewed as, depending on how you view them, top half of the league. Maybe
but that's
much
only
better
one
than that.
loss. I don't think that's devastating.
But you start from behind, and there's only 9 games.
I know, but the Kyle, his team lost to SC, and I remember him adamantly, they're not going to go undefeated. We're going to be fine. And they were. They lost the first game. All those games run together. I don't even remember the details. But he was so definitive and defiant in the post game, and he was right.
Yes, but also now you got teams missing each other. There's a whole factor, stuff you can't control.
I don't think there's going to be 3 teams who are 9-1 or 8-1.
Jordan, simple answer is no. My other answer is also no. I hope this helps. So simple answer is no, and its complicated answer is no. BYU is not the favorite.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Vegas, what they put out there, because they'll have new odds now with the new information that the quarterback is not going to be there. But I would still lean Texas Tech. You know, I went through and looked at all the transfers that they got coming in, and I believe in that. I'm biased, though. I saw Hammond light up the Utes. And then people say, well, he was the quarterback when they lost to the Devils. Yeah, the Devils, that was one of the games that they had all the guys healthy. And they were a much better team when they had their main guys healthy.
As most teams tend to be.
Yes. So
you don't tend to have 2 NFL receivers and 2 quarterbacks and
they're
2.
saying that's a knock on Hammond. Well, he quarterbacked that game. I think it was more about the Devils having their guys than a knock on Hammond. That's the point I'm making.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio, our U.S. Open draft. We'll talk to him about the championship at Shinnecock Hills. Stay with us.
Thumbtack presents Uncertainty Strikes. I was surrounded. The aisle and the options were closing in. There were paint rollers, satin and matte finish, angle brushes, and natural bristles. There were too many choices. What if I never got my living room painted? What if I couldn't figure out what type of paint to use? What if I just used Thumbtack? I can hire a top-rated pro that knows everything about interior paint, easily compare prices, and read reviews. Thumbtack knows homes. Download the app today.